Okay, boys and girls, we're going to start dividing in using partial quotients. Just another way to divide. And after you listen to the song, maybe that'll give you a quick idea of what partial quotients is all about. So let's get started with people in the United States eats about 23 pounds of pizza per person every year. If you ate that much pizza each year, how many years would it take you to eat 775 pounds of pizza? So if we already wrote it in a number sentence, it would say how many groups of 23 can be made from 775. So what I would like you to do is get your journal out and find your vocab word partial quotient. We are going to do the first example together, and you're going to put that example under partial quotient. So get your journal out and have your pencil ready, and don't worry about page 1, just follow along with what we are doing. Okay, so let's rewrite the division problem that we're going to do. The dividend is 775 divided by 23 equals the quotient 700. Or is the answer? The answer is the quotient. So we're going to start with our dividend. 775 divided. Remember, we put our dividend always inside the house. Our divisor goes on the outside of the house because that's how many groups we have. So the way we're going to try to do this time with partial quotient is we're going to ask ourselves, 23 times what will go into 775? So I'm going to take it times 10 because I know that one's an easy one. I know my times 10, and that will get me closer. So just like I've done before with division, 23 times 10 equals 230. So then I have to subtract. Because I had 775, I used 230. I now have 545. Well, I can do this all over again. This is my new total. I have 23 times 10, and that was 230. I have to subtract 513. Ooh, I still can do it because 315 is my total, and I know 23 times 10 equals 230. So 5. Okay, I have a 1 up here, and I have 3 I need to borrow. And I know that 11 take away 3 is 8. So now I've got to ask myself, 23 can go into 85 about how many times? Well, it can't go 10. But I'm going to try, because I know to double is easy. I'm going to take it times 2. And I know that 66, or 46, sorry. And so now if I double 23, so 23 times 2, okay, I have a 5, but I've got to take 6 away. I can't do that. I have to borrow. That makes this one a 7, and I have 15. 9. 7 take away 4 is 39. Well, I know that 23 can go into 39 one time only, because if 2 times would be 40. 23 times 1 equals 23. I'm going to subtract 6, 1. I have 16 left over. I know that I cannot take it times anything else when my answer is less than my divisor. So how am I going to figure out what my answer is? Well, I know I have a remainder of 16 because that's what I have left over. But I also have to, how many times did I take it? 23 times to get me down to 16. 10, 20, 30, 32, 33. So my answer is 33. 33 remainder 16. All right, I hope you stopped the tape whenever you needed to do that and go through that. Let's go back to our worksheet and let's just look at how they said to do it. They did times 10 times 10 times 2 times 1, just like we did. Got 33 remainder 16. All right, let's do it again. Let's do one more. Let's not put this on your paper. Grab a whiteboard or piece of paper and let's do this one together there on the whiteboard. Or you can do it over here on the workspace. Alright, Miles is helping his father with the supply order for his pizza shop. For next week, the shop will need 1,450 ounces of mozzarella cheese. Each package of cheese weighs 32 ounces. Complete Miles' work to find how many packages for mozzarella cheese he will need to order. So let's look at this, and I prefer you do it on whiteboard. We're going to flip over to my whiteboard, and I wrote the problem. Here's my dividend. Here's my divisor. I'm going to put my dividend inside the house and my divisor on the outside. So I'm going to start with, instead of doing 32 times 10, that's 320. Could I do it times 100? Well, 32 times 100 is 3,200. No, way too much. So I have to go back to times 10. So 32 times 10 equals 320. So now I subtract, just like I've done before. And I have 1,130. I can take it times 10 again, and I get 320. 0, 1, I have to borrow. And I have 8 again. I can do it times 10 one more time, and I get 320. 0, oh, I have to borrow. This time I have 9. 11 take away 2 equals 9. 7 take away 3 equals 4. I can do it again, and I get 320, because 32 times 10, 0, 7, 1. Ooh, can I do it again? No. So I'm just going to think about, well, I could do it times 1, but I know if I double 32, I get 64. So I'm going to take it times 2. So I'm going to go 64. Subtract 64, I have to borrow again. 10 take away 4 equals 6. 6 take away 6 equals 0. And I have 100. Whoop, I can do it times 2 again. 64. 2, I have to borrow. 10, 42. Well, I can do it one more time, but 32 times 1 equals 32. 0, 10. So I know my remainder is 10. Now, what did I multiply to get down to 10? 10, 20, 30, 40, 42, 44, 45. So my quotient is 45, remainder 10. Whoops, sorry. I kind of ran it off the board. I hope yours went the same way mine did. Now, I would like you to get your journal back out, because we're going to do this same exact problem, only we're going to do it a little bit in a faster term. So let's erase what I have here, and you're getting your journal out. I'm going to rewrite this to 1,450 inside the house and 32 on the outside. So I'm going to think about this and try and get a little bit larger. So I'm just going to, my whole trick was before I showed most of you to cover up the last one, and ask myself, 32 can go into 145 about how many times? Well, I'm going to just try 2 because that's easier. So 32 times 20, because I covered up the 0, I put the 0 in the 1's place, and if I double this, I get 640, which I know how to do very easily. I'm going to subtract that off, 1, and now I'm at 9. Oops, 8, sorry. I can take it times 2 again, because I know that can go under 640. 0, oh, I have to borrow, and I know 11 take away 4 is 7. 170, and I can look at it again and say, well, I know that half of 32 times 10 is 320, or I could do 32 times 2, which is 64, 6, 0, 1 times 2 more again, 2, 42 times 1, remainder 10 times 20, 20, 40, 42, 44, 45. I get the same answer, but you see how that shortened it up. Now, depending on how short you can make it with doing this on the side is how well do you know your multiplication facts. How fast can you go 32 times 5? If you could do that pretty quickly, I could have put that answer way up here and made it a lot faster. But if you don't know your facts very well, then you need to do the long partial quotient, which is just fine until we get practicing our facts. So I hope you understand that. If not, watch the next video there, because that one will help you again. Let's go back to our worksheet, and we've done these. You don't have to fill them in as long as you've done them. This is how they chose to do it. There's several ways to do a partial quotient. It's just a matter of how many multiplying you're going to do. So together with your partner, I would like you to do 2, 3, and I want you to do one of them from this group. I don't care which one. I want you to do one of them from this group, and it also needs to be on another piece of paper. I need to see your work. When you get those done, and if you and your partner agree with the answer, you may work on your homework, which is on this page. I want you to do 2, 6, and 8. On this page, I'd like you to do 2, 4, 5, and 6. So if you want to see it written this way as your homework page, those are the ones you have to do. I hope quotients, partial quotients is more helpful to you. Let's see how it works for you.